Hello, my name is Jamie Maloney. I'm a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker in Tampa Bay, Florida, and welcome to the all-new TampaBayREO.com website. I am a real estate agent with over 10 years of experience selling bank-owned properties across 8 different counties in the region and have sold over 2,000 different foreclosed properties with over $100 million or more in sales volume. So I want to thank you for taking some time to look at the website here and how I can help you get your asset sold. So let's take a moment to walk you through this website and how to use it. On the homepage there, we are welcoming you to the new TampaBayREO.com website. And over here on the About section, you will learn a little bit more about myself. There are the number of different awards and recognition I have received. I have been placed on the Wall Street Journal Top 100 broker list on several different occasions, selling in excess of 250 individual units of real estate, in addition to receiving the highest level of awards within Coldwell Banker on a number of different occasions. Also, I am a member of the National Association of Real Estate Agents, the Florida Association of Real Estate Agents, the Greater Tampa Association, as well as the National REO Brokers Association. Through the National REO Brokers Association, we have a network of professional REO brokers that engage with one another through best practices, shared standards, and overall excellence. So the National REO Brokers Association is an elite organization of REO brokers, and something you as an asset manager or somebody with a distressed inventory to sell should consider when hiring a real estate agent. Coming back over here to the site there, you will see my license number in the state of Florida, my ID to be located in ResNet if you are a provider that is using that portal, also my Equator ID. I grew up in West Virginia, came to Florida at age 18 and began in real estate at the age of 28 or 29 some 10 years ago, and have specialized almost entirely in the sale of bank-owned properties. So I have experience with all of the different major providers from HUD, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the VA, Bank of America, Chase, a number of different servicing entities that have come and gone through the years. Altogether, 45, 50 different asset management companies and banks that I have listing broker experience with. So again, I would like to welcome you to the site and take you through some of the other features of this site. I'm also a host of a program called That Business Show 2.0, the Real Estate Edition. And on this site, you can hear past episodes of the program. The show is a 60-minute program where I talk strictly real estate and hopes to educate and inform consumers. So over there on the podcast button, if you scroll down, you can see all the past episodes. And this program is also available on iTunes, and you can subscribe right there on iTunes to the real estate edition of the program. I believe strongly in outreach and marketing to differentiate myself as a real estate agent amongst the other real estate professionals in the community. And through the podcast and giving back to the community with this show is a way that I help to differentiate myself. Also, if you come up here to the top of the page, you will see a tab that says Real Estate Videos. Underneath here is all the different real estate videos that I have done over the last few months to educate consumers on real estate. So for instance, here's a video here on how to buy HUD homes. I have been a listing broker for HUD for a number of years, going back probably 6 years in that category. But this is a 60-minute video right there on how to buy HUD homes. It's a resource not only for realtors, but for buyers, for sellers, investors. Anybody that is interested in real estate can find a topic that will suit their needs. Eviction processes and stories. We also go through the market stats once a month in Tampa with a detailed Excel spreadsheet that I prepare and disseminate to the consumers that shows the state of the market, the available inventory in the different price points, how the REO market is performing, how short sales are performing, how condos versus home sales are performing all across the Tampa Bay region. Those spreadsheets are available to by request if you watch the program and would like to request that. My email address, jamie@tampabayreo.com, or you can simply use the contact button up here at the top of the page. Also, underneath the real estate search, consumers can request and search for real estate through the residential and the commercial tabs right here. Underneath the residential tab, you will find a mortgage calculator. and the ability to search for properties via map, property, or address search. You can also create an account and save your information and log in each time that you return to the website. That way you can save properties, you can save searches, and you can keep up to date with new inventory as it comes on and off the market. You can also request a free home valuation over here underneath real estate search, and down here at the bottom of where you can search for commercial rental properties, lots, and land. So this website here is a resource for Tampa Bay-based foreclosed properties. I myself cater primarily to asset managers, for banks, investors, anybody with distressed inventory, short sales. That's kind of the market that I am engaged in. But I can help you with a number of different real estate properties, whether you're a homeowner in the area with a regular home to sell, whether you're a person with a commercial piece of property, I can help you with that as well. I am, again, an agent with Coldwell Banker with over 10 years of experience and 2,000 some properties sold, and I've worked with a variety of different clients. In addition, I have an extensive network of professionals that I've built up through the parent program of That Business Show 2.0, the Real Estate Edition, that airs each weekday morning at 9 a.m. on thatbusinessnetwork.com. That program is over 3.5 years old, and each morning I interview a different business professional or entrepreneur about their business and what it is that they do, in the hopes to educate and inform entrepreneurs, not sort of in the same way that I am doing with the Real Estate Edition podcast. I spent 3.5 years on local radio in Tampa Bay on AM 1250 WHNZ before moving the program online on March 6th, hence the new name, That Business Show 2.0, with the Real Estate Edition airing new programs each Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, again available at thatbusinessnetwork.com. Also, people can find programs available on demand on iTunes and on YouTube, as well as a variety of different podcasting players and platforms. The program is well disseminated and well marketed, and again, through the program I have interviewed over 1,200 different business professionals in and around Tampa Bay and across the country, not just Tampa Bay based professionals. And so I have an extensive network of professionals that can help market and get your home sold. So again, consider me your resource for the Tampa Bay real estate market. Over 10 years of experience, over 2,000 different properties sold, specializing in the sale of bank-owned properties, but again, can help you with any type of property from residential homes to vacant land to commercial properties. Also, again, learn more about myself over here on the About tab, and keep up to date on this site as the program will update, or the website will update a number of times. So again, I appreciate you taking some time out to watch the tutorial video. You can get in touch with me, Jamie, at tampabayreo.com. My phone number, 813-760-8516. Again, 813-760-8516. You can also use the contact form available over here on tampabayreo.com. So again, thank you so much for watching this tutorial video on this new website, and please check back frequently as the site continues to develop. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to Yeagers. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeagers, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products: hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Edition of That Business Show 2.0 with your host, Jamie Maloney, where real estate becomes a show business. Have you ever seen those guaranteed sale programs in your marketplace? Well, they're guaranteed to be a scam. I'm going to explain how they work today and why you should never respond to the guaranteed sale program. There's nothing illegal about the program. There's nothing, that's unscrupulous necessarily, but it's a typical bait and switch campaign. Bait and switch meaning they reel you in with a good offer and they switch you to something else. That's the idea behind the guaranteed sale program that you'll see agents across the country do. And lots of times they are the top producing agents that do it because it is a gold mine for leads. And simply put, what it is you'll see an advertisement where a real estate agent guarantees to sell your home in so many days, and it's usually like 20 to 30 days, and or guaranteed to sell, or we will buy it. That's the pitch. And so naturally you're curious, how can they guarantee to sell the home or they'll buy it? The pitch is pretty simple. You're going to call them up and they're going to present you with that offer, and they're going to make the terms of the offer so ridiculous that you're going to turn it away, while then switching to the other basic program that they want you to buy. So it'll go something like this. You'll call up, hey, I see you have the guaranteed sale program. I'm thinking about selling my house. Tell me how this works. And of course you want to arrange a meeting, listing, get them all, and that's the key to the bait and switch right there, is get them into the office, or at the house, to where you get them to where they're ready to sign some paperwork, and not necessarily just tell them over the phone. But what it is then you offer it to them. Yes, we do have a guaranteed sale program. The way this works, this is a 10% commission program, and we will price your home at 80% of fair market value, all spelled out in the listing agreements, and we guarantee to sell your home within so many days. So first red flag is 10% commission. I think a lot of people know that commissions are less than 10%, 6% being standard, but again, that is a negotiable items. There are no set commission standards in real estate. And so right there, that immediately makes you cringe. And then when they begin to talk about selling your home below market value, they may not use that terminology. That's just me being direct with what they are really doing. They may use terms like, position your home to move quickly, which means underpricing it, severely, to the point that if it doesn't sell, they're going to go in there and buy it, and then they could easily flip it to one of their investors to at least recover the money. And then if it's below market value, which is how the setup is designed to perform, they're going to make money. The bottom line is, if the home is priced below fair market value, especially in an undersupplied real estate market, the home's going to sell. You don't need to be paying a 10% commission to get a home to sell for under fair market value. So that's how that works. Again, they say, here's a 10% program. We're going to price your home this, even though you think it's worth that. We're going to get this home sold in 29 days, whatever the case may be, and the home is going to sell, and you're not going to have to worry about it. Ask those agents how many times people have taken that agreement and how many times they have ever bought a home through the program. Guarantee you the answer is 0. There are a few agents across the country that I've heard use this program and who have at least answered that to the affirmative like one time, but it's a complete bait and switch campaign to get you in the door, so that then they can say, well, if you don't like the terms of that program, we have a marketing package here for 6% commission, whereby we market your home through the multiple listing service, all the standard stuff that real estate agents are going to do for you to begin with. And now, after being presented with this, ridiculous offer, things look better now. That makes much more sense. So that's where you make something look so entirely bad that the normal offer looks really good. That's another deceptive sales technique, and that's the bait and switch campaign that a number of different agents use. It's not illegal. It's not, it's not unethical. It's fully disclosed, but that's how they do it. And for people that are familiar with bait and switch campaigns and techniques, and that's what you're doing. So stay away from that stuff. If you're going to market your home, go with reputable real estate agents who have their standard marketing agreement, that are confident enough in getting your home sold within 30 to 60 days, that understands how to price your property properly to sell it within, as I've talked about on this program a number of times, 2 to 4 weeks naturally. If the home is priced right, you will get multiple offers on the property, and your home will sell for more than what the home is worth in today's market, especially here in Tampa Bay. If you overprice the home, then it's going to sit, it's going to become distressed and aged on the market, and the value that it could have gotten is going to begin to diminish because you didn't price your home properly. And so I talk a number of times, and I'm talking a little bit more about it right now, how to position your home to sell. If you are in a first order is to look in the neighborhood and see if your home is conforming. If it's conforming, you can take the average price per square foot of all the sold properties, multiply that times the square footage of your home, and get a fair market value for your property. That is in a conforming neighborhood of very similar homes, and then you can look at the the highs and the lows within the statistical range and decide where you want to price your home. Know what type of market you're in. Are we in an appreciating market or a depreciating market? Right now we are in an appreciating, undersupplied market, and so you want to price the home slightly under fair market value so that the home gets multiple offers and will sell over list price. Well, other people will say, no, you want to price it over fair market value because it's an appreciating market. It doesn't work as effectively, in my opinion, and this is with over 2,000 homes sold, and being a bank agent, the banks usually price their homes at and under fair market value, and then there are some that price them over the fair market value. I've seen it perform time and time again, where if they slightly underprice the home, it performs better than overpricing it to begin with and either waiting for the market to catch up, which is one of those terms that real estates will throw out there, which market's not going to catch up in 6 months. Real estate doesn't move that quickly. At least it doesn't. Usually it has in the past, but not so much right now. But price the home slightly below fair market value. Get those buyers that are currently in the market ready, willing, and able to buy today. Remember, I talked on the past programs about how buyers are in the marketplace at various points throughout the year and point in their buying abilities and readiness. So when they're looking at the homes, they usually take 6 months to a year, and so they're accustomed to what's been coming on and off the market. And so when they're ready to buy, they know when that home is priced right, and they're ready to strike now. But if you overprice it, that buyer who's ready, willing, and able to buy isn't going to buy, and you're going to miss that initial bump in the real estate buying cycle that occurs with those buyers in that price point right there. Not price point, but in that buying range right there. So very important to price your property. Price your property from the beginning at a value that generates interest, because at the beginning of a listing, you have a tool that you're not going to have at any other point in the listing, and that's sense of urgency. That is, I've got a ton of interest in this property. We're getting people in here left and right. We're expecting multiple offers to come in, or we have multiple offers coming in. That's all believable and doable within the first couple of weeks of the listing. Once the property is on the market for 30, 60, 90 days, unless it has been reduced in price or there's been some major repair work done to the property, it's hard to convince home buyers that, yeah, you've got a lot of interest in the property, you're expecting multiple offers, we expect this home to be sold any minute, when there hasn't been a price change and when there hasn't been any repair. Sense of urgency is the number one thing that a home seller has in their advantage during the initial listing of the property. So price your property to sell within those first 2 to 4 weeks. You should be seeing offers again within that first 7 to 10 days, and again with the ability to close it within 30 days. Overpricing the home and thinking that your home is going to be different from the other homes for whatever reason ultimately leads to a depressed price in what you could have got. Now, if your home is in an unconforming area, then it becomes a little bit more of a challenge to price your property. You may seek out the second opinion of an appraiser. The real estate agents essentially do the same thing as what an appraiser is going to do. They review comps, they make adjustments, and then they price your property based on those inputs. Some homes are so unique in the way they are laid out or in their location that it can be difficult to price a property properly. And so in those situations, it can be difficult. And also when you get up into the $1 million category in your higher end markets. But for the most part, Tampa Bay, new homes in a lot of areas are very conforming to one another. Simply pricing them by the square foot versus other homes in the neighborhood will get your home sold quickly. It's a seller's market out there right now. Now is the time to sell, and I want to be your resource for selling that home. Jamie at TampaBayREO.com is my real estate email address. Jamie at TampaBayRadio.com works as well. We are developing the new TampaBayREO.com website, which will be the new real estate centric site for the program and my real estate business. So we did a tutorial on that earlier, and you can watch that also on the homepage of TampaBayREO.com. But make me your resource for buying or selling homes in Tampa Bay with over 2,000 homes sold. And you can also reach me 813-760-8516, 813-760-8516. When I come back from the break, I want to talk about mortgage fraud and how to protect yourself from becoming a victim, how mortgage fraud schemes have worked in the past and how that led up to the financial crisis in 2008. So I'm going to explain that when we come back from the break on the real estate edition of That Business Show 2.0 with Jamie Maloney, where real estate becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeagers. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeagers, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Edition with your host, Jamie Maloney, where real estate becomes show business. I want to take some time and talk about mortgage fraud on this episode or this segment of the program. Mortgage fraud, not as prevalent these days, although it is still out there in one form or another. Tampa Bay had a extensive problem with this in the late 90s, early 2000s, up until the financial crisis, which put a lot of amendments or amends in place, I should say, to combat that ever-growing, very easy-to-run scam. And so I'll explain a little bit on how that works here on this program. I remember getting into real estate in 2006, getting my license, not really getting going until 2007. And I was in USF finishing up my degree in finance. One of my good friends in the class, who was a student and was working as a property manager for a mortgage broker, I was talking with her one day, and she told me she owned all this real estate. She owned 10 properties in Mira Bay, which was a very nice waterfront subdivision in Apollo Beach, other properties from across the Tampa Bay area. And she made $30,000 a year on a property manager's salary. And so I was immediately confused on how she owned these properties. And she's like, I just, my mortgage broker got them, for me. He was able to, apply and get these homes, and I'm the property manager for them, and I make, money off of the rents, and some of it goes to him. It was a, complicated thing. Nonetheless, I knew that something was wrong, but I didn't know exactly what was wrong because in 2006, I was still new in real estate and didn't fully understand what was going on. So that was a mortgage fraud scenario. And what happens in a mortgage fraud scenario is somebody, first off, mortgage fraud occurs anytime the lender, the person, lending the money, is not fully disclosed 100% on the buyer's credentials, credit history, their job, who is getting the money, where the money is going. If any of that stuff is wrong and knowingly presented wrong, then you can be charged with mortgage fraud, which is a federal crime with a sentence of 15 years in prison. So it's a very serious crime to commit mortgage fraud. Essentially, it's modern day bank robbery. Instead of walking into the bank with guns and going to the safe and robbing people at gunpoint, you're robbing people through technology, paperwork, and applications. And so the typical mortgage fraud scenario would work something like this. You find a property for sale on the marketplace. Let's say the home is priced at $100,000. The seller wants $100,000. You as a buyer, well, what happens is you usually would enlist a straw buyer to come in and buy the home. So a lot of times this would originate with somebody, a mortgage broker, or somebody associated with a mortgage broker. In the past, in the late 90s, there's an excellent story that was on American Greed about a person by the name of Matthew Cox. He got over $12 million in mortgage fraud transactions, and even wrote a novel which he essentially led to his capture. It was a fictitious piece of writing, but the character was so much based on himself that it was obvious that it was really his story, just embellished for dramatic purposes. He may still be in prison. I'm not positive if he's still in prison. This happened in the late 90s, early 2000s, and he was on the run for quite some time. He stole people's identities, so he used a straw buyer on paper. As the scams evolved, people started actually getting actual straw buyers, people that were becoming victimized, unknowing to themselves versus being the victim of an identity theft situation. You find the property on the marketplace. That's step one. Find the property you're going to buy. $100,000, seller wants $100,000. So the buyer then presents the offer to them for more than the list price. And you say, okay, I see you want $100,000, but on the closing statement, it's going to say we paid $150,000 for the home. We're going to do some repairs on it. We need some money to cash out and do things like that. Seller's like, I don't care. I just want my $100,000. It's not worth $150,000. If it was, I'd be asking $150,000. But that's part of the problem right there. The home isn't worth $150,000. So a lender is not going to lend on a home that is worth more than what it is fair market value. That's where the appraiser comes in. Now, before 2010 or 2008, 9, 10, somewhere around there, appraisers and mortgage brokers were best friends with one another. Each mortgage broker or loan officer had their appraiser who they called. So the appraiser would go out there and appraise this $100,000 home for $150,000. They would, and with an appraisal, yeah, you're supposed to use comps that are similar to the subject property, but there's so much subjectivity in real estate, especially homes that are non-conforming. It doesn't work as easily inside a conforming subdivision where everything is the same, but you find something non-conforming where you can make arguments based on its location, you can make an adjustment for this and for that. And so they go in there and they price the home, or they appraise the property for $150,000. The straw buyer then makes application for the loan, and so the fraudulent mortgage broker then helps them fill out the application. And what they do to them is they say, we're going to get you into the home, and you're also going to get $10,000. This is somebody who's usually clueless, somebody who doesn't have strong credit, somebody who's just plain naive. And so now they're being promised, hey, you're going to get into a home, you're going to get $10,000. It's going to be, excellent, opportunity for you. And so they make application to the bank. The bank reviews the appraisal, everything looks good, and then they go to closing. Now this is where the title company has to be involved. The lender is going to have to approve the closing documents, and they've been told the home is being sold for $100,000 or $150,000. They don't know that the seller is only taking $100,000. And so the title company presents to the lender a money showing that all the money goes to the seller. The $150,000 goes to the seller because that's what the home is worth. On the real closing documents, what it would show is that $100,000 goes to the homeowner, $10,000 is being kicked out to the straw buyer, and $40,000 is kicked out to some LLC that's going to do repairs or just something with the property. And so that's where the fraud is committed, because the lender is not disclosed on the true proceeds of the funds that they are supplying. And so what happens, you say, well, still somebody has to answer for that mortgage. That's where either the identity theft victim or the straw buyer then comes into play. And in the story that I told you at the beginning of this segment, my friend was the straw buyer. The mortgage broker, his name was Luis Rivera. He ended up getting caught the next year and did 8 years in prison for this very crime. But he was using her identity to buy these homes. She was the owner of record, and he was giving her money to basically manage these homes, and she thought she owned them outright. Strangely enough, about a month or so after she initially told, because the reason I knew this is because I had just gotten into real estate and she wanted to sell these homes, so I need to clarify that. And when I looked at the value of the home versus what she owed on them, I said, this doesn't make sense. I mean, you're upside down by hundreds of thousands of dollars on each of these properties. I can't sell these. And she didn't understand. And over the next month, as I began to study what had happened and began to learn about mortgage fraud, I had told her what had happened, that she was the victim of identity theft and mortgage fraud. Within a month, the FBI contacted her, because that's where the scam, or I guess that's where the investigation is going to start, is with the person who makes application. And she was scared to death. She had no idea she had done something wrong. In essence, she was a victim. She ended up getting vindicated and not charged, and was able to show that she was an unwilling participant and just naive. But it still destroyed her credit. Banks foreclosed on all the units, recovered what they could, and took the properties back. So the mortgage broker was charged with mortgage fraud. She was decimated with her credit history, and the banks ultimately lost out on hundreds of thousands of dollars. And on a global scale, it was hundreds and hundreds of millions, and probably even billions of dollars that different real estate investors and scam artists cost people in the mortgage fraud scheme. So it's a very basic scheme to run, either straw buyer or identity theft with a mortgage broker in conjunction with the appraiser, in conjunction with the title company. Not as easy to do today, because the mortgage brokers are not able to pick the appraisers anymore. They are handled through an appraisal management company. That was one of the protections that was put into place as a result of the financial crisis. And also the title companies are also more regulated today, and the lenders ask a lot more questions as well. And so it's not as easy of a scam to run today. But the bottom line is, any type of transaction in which a lender is not fully disclosed on the use of the funds, that is mortgage fraud. And the straw buyer ends up becoming the victim of the scam, because the banks foreclose, They ask all these questions. They're confused about, what they paid for the home versus what it's worth. They try to sell the home. They realize they can't sell the home because it's worth way more than what the home was purchased or what the home is worth. And they end up with decimated credit history, and they can be, brought up on charges as well. Sometimes the straw buyer is in play. Sometimes they're part of the scam. It really doesn't make sense for them to be part of the scam, though, because they're the one connected to the application process. Nonetheless, homeless people, people with poor credit history, these are the types of people that are targeted for identity theft and straw buyer positions. So again, something to be mindful of. That was a very common scenario back in the mid 2000s and early 2000s. Look up the story on Matthew Cox. He was probably the best at this that I'd seen. His story made national news, and he was on the run for about 6 years before they caught him. But he based his business out of Tampa, but he was just one of many people that got involved in fraudulent mortgages. It's modern day bank robbery. The days of going into the banks with the guns ablazing are gone. Technology now enables people to rob banks through creative techniques, mortgage fraud just being one such example. So again, keep me in mind for all of your real estate needs in Tampa Bay. Again, over 2,000 different properties sold in the past 10, 11 years in real estate. Also developing the new TampaBayREO.com website, so keep an eye on that as that site continues to develop with more and more resources for distressed properties in our area and just for real estate knowledge overall. The Real Estate Edition podcast will be centered there also, with all of the real estate videos available for review on demand. So please keep me in mind for selling your home or buying a home. And as always, you can go to thathomevaluation.com, which will direct you over to our free home valuation form to get you that free home valuation and begin to get your home sold here in the Tampa Bay market or wherever it is that you are in the country through our vast relocation and our referral network. Again, thathomevaluation.com. New episodes of the Real Estate Edition each Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, in addition to the weekly program, That Business Show 2.0, which is on each weekday morning at 9 a.m. So we got more on the program when we come back on the Real Estate Edition of That Business Show 2.0, where real estate becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeagers. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeagers, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
You know, Earl, I got something you might want to trade that thing in for.
What?
Something that really matters. Some leather that really matters.
What's that, Dave?
The Bible.
Oh,
How about that? How about we do a little trade-off?
Oh, I love it. I love it. We got the real word here, boy. I'm telling you. And by the way, man, I'm just so excited, man. We be talking about God, TAC. That's
right.
Gonna be phenomenal on WeBeam TV every Tuesday at 5:30.
That's going to be great.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Edition of That Business Show 2.0, where each Thursday at 9 a.m. real estate becomes show business. On this segment, I want to talk about the low appraisal situation that comes up in real estate deals from time to time. So what happens when you're selling a home or buying a home for that matter, and the appraisal comes in under the price that you agreed to pay for the home? This can happen for a variety of reasons. The seller could have overpriced the home to begin with, and the appraiser comes in and prices it at fair market value, or it just may not be in the location that the seller thinks it is, or different school districts. For whatever reason, the home is not worth what the appraiser says it's worth. And so what does that mean for the home buyer? Well, whatever loan program that they are using is going to pay a certain percentage of loan to value. And so if it's an 80% loan to value product, they're only going to offer 80% of the appraised value. If the seller is unwilling to bring the price down to the appraised market value, the difference then has to be brought to closing in the form of cash. So you would pay 80%, or you would get the 80% of the appraised value. You would put down your 20% plus the difference between the appraised value and whatever the seller is asking. So what can you do? You can either move on to the next property. You can negotiate with the seller to bring the home down to the fair market value, or you can challenge the appraisal. You can push back on the appraisal and try to convince them that the home is worth more than what the appraiser considers it to be. This has become a problem more and more in the last few years because, as I talked about in that last segment, appraisers and mortgage brokers were connected to one another, so it was rare to get a low appraisal. Why would somebody who is giving business to somebody, hurt them by giving them an appraisal that doesn't match what they need? I understand that that's, an unscrupulous form of business, but it rarely presented the problem of the low appraisal, which we have today. Part of that problem originates because the appraisal management companies will bring in appraisers that are not familiar with the areas. And so that's where educating the appraisers and helping them with choosing the proper comps comes into play, and it's perfectly ethical if done, professionally and with legitimate facts. There's nothing wrong with challenging the appraisal again, but these are the steps you want to take. So again, first off, don't panic. Just take a step back, offer to review the appraisal, and let's look for the some of the areas on the appraisal that could be lacking. The core of any appraisal is the comps. So look at the comps. What are they using? On appraisal, they're only going to be using the sold comps. The actives, the pendings, sometimes are noted in remarks, but versus like, broker price opinion or a comparative market analysis that agents prepare, you're just going to look at the solds, because ultimately that's what determines value. A value is not official until it is sold. Just because it's under contract or just because it's listed at a price, those are not the values that are setting the price points for a neighborhood or for a community. It's the sold comps that have sold. You want to then look at some key comparisons versus the subject property. The subject property being the property that you're buying, and then the comps, you make adjustments to the comps based on inferior or superior components of whatever area that you're looking at. So square footage is, well, first off, location is the number one factor in determining fair market value. And there's a number of different things that can deeply influence the locational value that an appraiser from out of the area may not be aware of. One of those being school district, for instance. In South Tampa, for instance, homes that are in the Plant City or Plant High School District are much more valuable than the homes that are outside the Plant High School District. But for somebody looking on a map out of the area, you're not going to know where that district extends to. And so you may be on the street across from where the border is, and you may use that as a comparison for a home inside the one that is in the Plant High School District, and you're going to bring the value down erroneously. Another major determinant in location are major roads. A lot of times homes north of a certain road or south of a major road will see completely different neighborhoods in terms of value. And so local appraisers should have that knowledge. Local real estate agents will have that knowledge, but somebody from out of the area is not going to know that. For instance, in South Tampa, it's a common knowledge that homes south of Gandy Boulevard are lower priced than homes north of Gandy Boulevard. Same holds true with the northern end of the peninsula with Kennedy Boulevard. So south of Kennedy is more valuable than north of Kennedy. And it happens like immediately when you cross the road. That's how quickly values can begin to change when they're in when they're inside of a location. So that's what you want to look at first. Look at the comps, look at the location, and make sure they're choosing homes that are inside those same school districts if that's a value point for that area. Make sure they're inside the same community borders if that is also a value point for that particular home. Next big determinant of value that needs to be looked at, square footage. Make sure that the homes are similar in size and also to the lot size of one another, and the condition and the age of the properties. All of those should be lined up and similar with realistic adjustments for the properties. In my market, square footage, typically the adjustment for that is to take the difference of the two homes, divide it by 4, and then multiply it times the price per square footage. That is the formula that I have always used to make adjustments. Appraisers can use their own formulas, but that's kind of standard adjustments for homes under 200,000 in Tampa Bay. So you should have some type of calculator to adjust the square footage of the home. So again, in Tampa Bay on homes under $200,000, if you take the difference of the two square footages, divide that difference by 4, and then multiply that by the sold price per square foot of the sold property, then you will get an adjustment, whether it's to bring it up if the square footage is under the subject, or bring it down if the square footage is above the subject property. So looking at location, square footage, lot size, condition, and age, and all those adjustments are subjective, but those are areas that you can challenge an appraisal on if you get a low appraisal. Also, make sure that you investigate situations such as distressed versus a non-distressed inventory. Foreclosures and short sales almost always will sell at some discount to fair market value. And so if you're buying a home that is a non-distressed property, meaning that a traditional sale is occurring on the property, it's not a foreclosure, it's not a short sale, that home should sell for more money than a bank-owned property, simply because bank-owned properties are usually inferior in condition. They are sold by corporations who are not emotionally tied to the property, so you have no emotional value involved. And any extended marketing time is oftentimes results in them reducing the price fairly quickly. They don't like the property to sit on the market for long times, and so by reducing the price, they can get them to sell quicker. So again, make sure that they are not using distressed inventory when you're marketing a non-traditional, or when you're marketing a traditional property. Check the location that the appraiser is based from. This is kind of the core of this whole discussion, is these appraisers who come into the market that are from out of the area. Check where their base is. So if they've come in from a county over, they're not really qualified to appraise properties in this county. They can say they are, they can make any arguments that they want, but if you go to the lender and request they do appraiser because they are out of the market, it's a possibility. It doesn't always happen, but you could do that. You can demand, a second appraiser comes in because they provided an appraiser that was not, somebody that knew the market. And now if you get a second appraisal, it's going to be a new cost. Typical appraisals, $400 to $600 is the cost of an appraisal. But that's just part of doing business. Buying real estate has costs associated with it. You may come to a situation where you're going to have to order a new appraisal because you're unable to convince the original appraisal to make the adjustments. And appraisers are just one person. Any particular real estate that is valued, that is appraised, if you have 3 appraisers do it, you're going to get 3 different values. You're rarely going to hit the same value point for the same home, unless it's a highly conforming home in a neighborhood. But real estate is a subjective form of evaluation, and it's open to discussion, open to different interpretations. And if you get a low appraisal, ask the appraiser to reconsider based on, what I was talking about here in this program. Have your real estate agent pull these more effective comps that show that the home is worth this particular value that is on the home. People do it all the time. It's perfectly ethical, perfectly legal, and a good appraiser shouldn't be offended by anybody questioning their work. Everybody's work is subject to critique. They're no different than any other profession. So it doesn't mean they're going to agree with you in the end, but if you get a low appraisal, challenge the appraiser. And sometimes you can get them to bring up the property value enough to maybe where the seller will come down and y'all can meet in some type of happy medium, if you can't get them up to the price point that you need. So again, myself based here in Tampa Bay, I want to be your real estate professional across the country, whether it's locally here or through our relocation network. Consider myself and my programs your source of real estate information. Jamie at TampaBayREO.com is my contact email for real estate. Jamie at TampaBayRadio.com also comes to me. Use that homevaluation.com to get a free home valuation anywhere in the country, and also connect with us all across social media. We have a different Facebook page for my real estate business located at facebook.com/Tampa Bay REO. Again, facebook.com/Tampa Bay REO. Also, my Twitter for my personal account, Jamie_Maloney. That's in addition to @ThatBizShow. So Jamie_Maloney and then @ThatBizShow. And you'll find all shows available on demand on thatbusinessnetwork.com and also on the newly developed TampaBayREO.com, which we continue to develop. So check back there frequently for updates on foreclosed and the distressed inventory. New episodes air Thursday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on thatbusinessnetwork.com. So again, tune in each weekday morning to That Business Show. Help the show grow, talk about it with friends, and share it across social media. We greatly appreciate all of our listeners, all of our fans, all of our guests, all the supporters that have been on the program and who continue to listen and help the show grow. So you've been listening to That Business Show 2.0, the Real Estate Edition. I'm your host, Jamie Maloney, where real estate becomes show business.